o'clock, so what we're gonna do is we're going to follow the agenda, and we are going to begin with the opening of a public hearing on a petition filed by The Point Nantasket Realty LLC regarding property at 839, 843, 845 Nantasket Avenue, map 12, lots 106, 108, 109, and 110, Hull, Massachusetts, which, as stated in the application, seeks to review a decision by the Town of Hull Planning Board to deny a request for site plan review under section 410-4.1C6 of the Hull zoning bylaws and MGL Chapter 48, Section 8, and to appeal the decision of the building commissioner's decision denying the building permit article under section 410-1C1. A building permit cannot be issued for projects which site plan review approval has not been issued. So, Attorney Brodsky is present on behalf of the applicant, correct? How you doing?
Chair Hennessy.
Yes.
Good evening, Adam Brodsky, and I represent The Point Nantasket Realty LLC.
Got it. And next cast character.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Brian Winter. I'm here on behalf of the Planning Board this evening.
Okay. All right. So this matter is now opened. And as I alluded to earlier in the evening, for those who were here for this prior to 7, and I will reiterate for those who are arriving now as we've surpassed 7 p.m. Just by way of background, we were ready to go for tonight, and I want folks to be able to hear this. As you have heard, we have town council representing the planning board. There may be members of the planning board present. We have an attorney for the applicant who identified himself earlier. And on behalf of my board, the Zoning Board of Appeals, of which I am the chair, I had requested that we also have legal representation present for this hearing based on what could be seen as fairly complex, novel issues that don't often come before our board. Regrettably, the attorneys in the law firm that were assigned to represent the Board of Appeals through the town are unable to be here tonight. I received confirmation of that little nugget of information at approximately 4:30 p.m. today. And as a result of that, there has been an agreement, and I'll allow the Planning Board Council and the Applicants Council to confirm that, but there has been an agreement to open this hearing and continue it, which I know is probably frustrating. But gentlemen, would you like to just sort of speak to that?
If I may, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah.
And again, just for the record, Brian Winter, Town Council, on behalf of the Planning Board this evening, just to reiterate what you already said, there was a conference between council this afternoon. We realize it's the 11th hour, but just due to circumstances outside of this board's control and others, that was the earliest we could convene that. It was discussed. The idea of a continuance to the 11th was agreed upon. We have no objection to it, and I mean agreed upon by the planning board. I'm not speaking for Attorney Brodsky at all. And so we have certainly no objection to that. I'm just going to leave it at that for now, because obviously we're not going to take any evidence or testimony this evening. So I'm just going to stop there. Thank you very much.
Attorney Brodsky.
Thank you, Chair Hennessy. I just want to clarify that my client was prepared to present this evening. My client takes no position either for or against the continuance request. That apparently is the advice of your counsel. So I just want to clarify, my client hasn't agreed to the continuance, but certainly doesn't oppose it. We were ready to rock and roll, but that is apparently not going to happen this evening.
And so are we, if we had our counsel here today, and on behalf of the public who are here. But regrettably, these types of things unfortunately happen, and it's a rainy Tuesday night, and it's regrettable that we can't proceed. So I guess with that, Attorney Brodsky, that date, August 11, a Tuesday, 7 p.m., perhaps the same location, we hope.
Chair Hennessy, I've confirmed that our team is available on the 11th.
Delightful. Okay. So with that being said, The voting members, the folks who are going to vote on this particular hearing are myself, Ed Parsons, and Phil Ballone. I'm going to make a motion to continue the public hearing as it relates to the Point Nantasket Realty LLC to its own individual time slot on Tuesday, August 11, 2026, beginning at 7 p.m. At a location to be determined, but in all hopes and prayers that we're right back here in a couple of weeks, given the size of the room. That's my motion. Motion by Hennessy. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, so motion by Hennessy, second by Parsons. All those in favor, roll call vote. Aye, Hennessy.
Aye, Parsons.
Aye, Balloon.
All right, gentlemen, thank you very much. That's unanimous. So it is 7:05. We have agreed to continue this matter to August 11, 2026, 7 p.m. Nobody leave yet. We've got 7:10 coming up for those who want to.
Call tomorrow and return your phone call.
And Adam, the other part was pretty simple, is, I don't know if Gene English's friend's property. Oh, I know. He makes a statement that unless it's something you guys. I think glacial movement at town hall. To go ahead and use it. She has not engaged me yet, so I think she's waiting for you to tell her yay or nay.
5 emails, 5 phone calls.
Read the email.
Went up there personally.
2 days ago, I think. Oh, the whole. I think I figured out. It's a silly little thing. It's a separate piece of land with a shed.
I know this is annoying.
Reporting authority. It's not him.
Sorry about that.
Let me see.
Never know.
Okay, cool, awesome. All right, folks,
Holy
where'd everybody
cow.
go? What the heck,
What?
man? I don't even know if we need to be on TV right now. All right, so here it is. It is now 7:15, and we are here for a 7:10 opening of a public hearing on a petition filed by Stephen and Elizabeth Curie regarding property at 23 N Street, map 14, lot 115, which, per the application, seeks to apply for a special permit / variance to construct new additions, plural, to an existing single-family dwelling, new full second story over the first floor, side and rear additions, attached two-car garage, covered front porch, front and rear decks, structural house lift for FEMA compliance. Building remains a single dwelling unit. Jesus, even this agenda is screwed up. Pursuant to the whole zoning, I'm just trying to read this thing correctly here. Renee, this, as it was advertised, I gotta look at these things. Like, that's all screwed up. Like, where's, let's look at the, see if the building
What is
department.
it?
Look here, and then period, and then, so,
Oh, pursuant.
yeah, so let me just find the, I wanna get the building department letter.
Pursuant to the.
See if, what it says there. Hold on.
It's the right article.
Yeah, no, it's
Not-
just the way that it's drafted is confusing when you,
Oh.
like, it doesn't read.
It has the correct information.
It's just jumbled
Oh.
up. But do we have, is there a building department letter in here? Let's see.
It should be.
I thought it was on, it usually is on the back of that, but it's not.
It was in there separately.
It was in separate. Let me look.
Yeah, so see if it's in there, because I wanna, we're here to open this public hearing for your lovely home that miraculously you're not taking down, you're just building everything out and about. So kudos to you guys.
Thank you.
You open it up, I can't really see you too far away. Hmm?
Oh, denial letter, sorry.
The submittal treats it as a separate document. So I always keep it separate.
Ah, here we go. All right, so. I'm gonna do this first. So, in an effort to make this clear for the record, once again, it's now 7:17, and we are here for the opening of a public hearing on a petition filed by Stephen and Elizabeth Curie regarding property at 23 N Street, map 14, lot 115, which per the application seeks to apply for a special permit variance to construct new additions to an existing single-family dwelling, new full second story over the first floor, side and rear additions, attached two-car garage, covered front porch, front and rear deck, structural house lift for FEMA compliance pursuant to the whole zoning bylaws, Article 6, Section 410-6.2, non-conforming uses. The building remains a single dwelling unit. The existing and proposed right and left side setbacks are less than the 10-foot required. So, there we go. It appears we're just dealing with setback issues. And in terms of the order of business, tonight voting on this will be myself, Ed Parsons, and Anthony May. We open it to the applicant, then we talk about it on the board, then we open it to the invisible members of the town, boards and commissions who are not here, followed by any folks from the public who are either in favor or against the project. So either Mr. Ray or you folks, somebody come to the microphone and tell us
Just,
your hopes
could I
and
just speak
dreams.
from here on my seat, or?
I think so. Hold on, how about this?
Microphone doesn't amplify the room, just.
Is that okay?
Oh, are we on television right now? All right, cool. Look at
Always wanted to be a television star.
Yeah, we are. I would love to be. So, okay, sir, why don't you tell us what's going on?
Sure. Good evening, Stephen Curry, my wife Elizabeth Curry, property owners of the 23 N Street location. It's a property that we were happy to purchase almost 2 years ago, last October. We were fortunate enough to been in Hull for years. It's actually, our primary residence is on Beach Ave. Our intentions for this property is to have a place for my brother, who's a priest in Boston, to have a place to call home, and to have a place where we can put a car or two in additional storage, because where we live, there's no storage. And it's right around the corner where we live. It just checks a bunch of boxes. We were very happy that it came on the market. And when it comes to sort of the variances and all that stuff, I would rely on David to answer any of those questions, but we are longtime Hullers, gonna be there for the rest of our lives, and just wanna check a few boxes for family.
Is it Hullers or
Hullonians, sorry.
You gotta get the nomenclature.
Well, I'm
a North Shore guy. I don't
I'm a
even
dot
count.
rat, so.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm from Ipswich. I'm not even allowed in this town.
So-
Okay, so wonderful. So I take it, I get it. So you guys, primary place where you go to bed at night is 301 Beach Avenue. This is a property and the renovations related there too for use by family members. All right, great. Renee, can you just put the building letter up there? I want to read that, just for the sake of fun. Okay. What we like to do is just sort of memorialize the basis for why we're here, and that comes in the form of the actual building department letter. So what we have on the screen, gang. Yep.
No, the wireless up
Is there wireless? All right. For those enchanted human beings who may be watching this on TV right now, what I'm doing is I'm going to read into the record the building permit application denial letter. This is dated June 25, 2026, addressed to Oak Development, 1035 Main Street, Hingham, Mass. 02043, regarding Stephen and Elizabeth Curie, trustees of the PK Motor Realty Trust, 23 N Street, Hull, Mass. 02045. Dear Mr. Antonick, and before I go further, who's Mr. Antonick?
He's the owner of Oak Development, Chris, who works for him, was unable to make it tonight.
Okay, so they're the.
Effectively the contractor.
Thank you, Mr. Ray. I am in receipt of your building permit application dated June 17. The only reason I asked is that he's not on the application, but that doesn't matter. I'm in receipt of your building permit application dated June 17, 2026, on which you propose to perform the following work. Renovation and additions to an existing single-family dwelling, new full second story over the existing first floor, side and rear additions, attached two-car garage, covered front porch, front and rear decks, structural house lift. Building remains a single dwelling, one unit. After having reviewed said application, I have determined that this would be in violation of the town zoning bylaws, Article 6, Section 410-6.2, non-conforming uses, paragraph 61-2. The proposed renovations, additions, and house lift requires a special permit from the Zoning Board of Appeals. Specifically, what is important for us is the existing and proposed right and left side setbacks are less than the 10 feet required. Therefore, you are required to file all necessary applications for a public hearing and appeal with the Hull Zoning Board of Appeals pursuant to MGL Chapter 40-A. Any questions regarding this matter may be directed to this department. Very truly yours, Bartley Kelly, Building Commissioner. So that is the reason that triggered this application. And now we'll go back to our regular order of business. So with that being said, my fellow board members, does anybody have any initial questions before we likely put it out to Mr. Ray to give us the nuts and bolts? go just hit it.
Dave, on the plan here, it's got the footprint area 1571 on the
Okay.
existing. The proposed has it at 1,000.
Say that again, Ed?
The existing footprint has it, area as 1,571 square feet. The proposed one has it as 1,035.
It's actually
Unless I'm reading it wrong.
1,723, and I think what you're,
And David, I'm sorry, just,
Second floor?
we know who you are, but just your name and.
Is that,
Oh, sorry.
is that 1,000 referring to the second floor?
I think the best person to talk about this is the man in blue. So,
Nantasket Survey Engineering, David Ray here, at 46 Edgewater Road in Hull. So I think what you're seeing that is a little confusing to you, Ed, is that, let me describe what's going on with this. We have to tear the garage off. The garage is disappearing, and a new garage with new foundation is gonna be put in.
Doesn't say that.
The remaining portion of the house, which is 1,035 square feet, is being elevated. We have to fill the basement, and this is a non-compliant, non-FEMA compliant home, and we're exceeding 50% of the fair market value of the home, so we have to make it FEMA compliant. So we're gonna elevate the house, fill the basement in, bring the house down on this new elevation, so it's gonna be raised higher than it was. And then on top of all that, we're adding a second floor and rebuilding the garage. Did you all get a chance to look at the existing house picture? Because I wanna make it real,
Renee, put that up for the,
and I really only wanna see the front of it, right there.
Unfortunately, I voted almost
There we go, first try. So if you look at that and then look at the design that was done by Doug Friesian, we're talking a radically, totally different house. And one of the reasons was I sat in a meeting and listened to Elizabeth, and one of the things that was very important to her was the porch that was gonna be on the front of this house. So they also wanted a little small addition off to the side to act as an entryway. So one of the things we had to do in all this is still stay under the lot coverage. So we had to make the garage slightly smaller to pull this all off. And plus the garage was going to be rebuilt anyway, so the garage ends up being built smaller. So, Ed, back to your question then. The 1,035 is the portion of the house that's not being rebuilt. It's that main piece. And then if you tally up all of the numbers, you'll see the proposed footprint is gonna be 1,723 square feet, which includes the addition, the new garage, and the porch in the front. So long-winded, but does that answer your question?
It does, but I have a follow-up question, that's for my own knowledge.
Okay?
Dave, when you tear the garage down, it's coming down completely, right?
Yep.
And according to the statistics, it's making is that the left side, the right side of the house?
Yes,
that's the right side setback that's staying the same.
Don't stay in the same, okay,
staying identical.
okay.
So yeah, just like, this all sort of makes sense to me, is that, yeah, you're taking the house as it exists, and everything's gonna be a little bit different, but the house itself is staying. The garage as it exists is gonna be taken down, but rebuilt on the existing
Slightly smaller footprint.
smaller footprint, but that the setback, which is the right side setback, is remaining the same nonconformity that it was
Prior.
prior.
Correct.
Okay. All right. And then everything else is more bells and whistles on the exterior on it. Okay.
Now, the rear setback will be less non-conforming.
Right, so how about this? Let's just go through, because our charge pursuant to Bart's letter is only right and left side setbacks. That's the only thing that we are concerned with, even though it appears to be this massive project. I was waiting for every little thing to have to come into play until the final sentence that just said right and left setbacks, which makes me happy. Before I get into that, does anybody else on the board have a question about this while David is amped up? Hearing none? Okay. So what we're going to refer to now, for purposes of the record, is the June 9, 2026 existing and proposed conditions plans completed by Nantasket Survey Engineering, LLC. This is up on the screen next to our version of Vanna White, the great Renee Kiley. And what we see here, and what's more important for our analysis, are the zoning and lot statistics up, to the top right. So going down, I'll go through each. Your minimum lot area, zoning bylaw requires 6,500 square foot. Existing is 5,758 square foot, which is pre-existing non-conforming. Proposed is going to be the same at 5,758 square feet. Moving further down, your minimum frontage is 75 foot. Existing is 71 feet. Proposed 71 feet. So both pre-existing non-conforming and being the same. Below that, front setback 25 foot. Is there a house in Hull that has 25 foot? I
Yes.
think we've seen one or two.
David Ray's house does.
Is it your house, really? Oh,
Yes,
God
it
bless.
does.
All right. Does yours have it too? Sweet.
They're actually quite few.
So your front setback, zoning bylaw requirements are 25 feet. Existing is 13.2 feet. Proposed is 8.6 feet. So that's slightly more non-conforming. However, it's not part of our review tonight.
Would you like an explanation?
Sure,
on that?
please,
Because
David.
The building
So-
inspector can waive.
That's something the building inspector can waive, but one of the things I wanted to point out to you, just so, because we've talked about these before.
Yep.
And it's always been something that I think you like to understand completely. If you look, the house is going back exactly where it was. Earlier, I had told you that Elizabeth had something that she was adamant about this house. She wanted it to have some character afterwards, which is why I wanted you to see the old picture and then ask you to look at the architectural design. And suddenly we have a house with character because she had the vision to recognize that she wanted a porch in the front of this house. It's not a humongous porch. It's probably big enough just to have a couple of Adirondack chairs on it, but the real thing it's going to do is give this house a character that it currently doesn't have. It's going to make us go down to an 8.6 foot front setback, but the house next door, the next house to the left, has a deck that's at 7.5.
Yep.
So we're no worse than them. We're
Yep.
actually better than them.
Understood. And Ed's point is correct, is that if Mr. Kelly so chose, he could put everybody in some form of
Yep.
penalty box on that. So,
Can
wonderful
I-
explanation. Yes, sir.
I know it's not statistically relevant, but it sits right across from the playing field. So
Another
you want to
reason
sit out on the porch. My
for the
brother
porch.
watched a softball game, watched tennis, and you got the bay breeze and the ocean breeze.
It's good trick-or-treating, too.
Yeah,
That's where we go
yeah.
trick-or-treating.
But look at the character change in this house just doing that.
I'm going to take everything you're saying to me as true. I've been lied to before, but I will say this, is that brother is a very lucky man to have a
Well,
family
we're lucky to
member.
have him.
Yeah, so, okay. Well, let's get back to the meat and bones of this. So further down on these zoning and lot statistics, we have the next two are important for us. So your right side setback, and Renee, once that gets back on there. Now we need the Jeopardy song. There we go. So what's really important on this one is your right side setback. Zoning bylaws require 10 feet, as noted by Mr. Kelly. The existing is 4.9 feet, and the proposed is staying the same at 4.9 feet. And for purposes of the record and folks who are listening to this, this is, again, on the right side of both the existing and proposed conditions, where you see essentially that the garage is going to be a little bit smaller, but that setback, the right side setback, is remaining the same pre-existing non-conforming space as before. And then going below that is left side setback, another 10-foot requirement pursuant to our bylaws. And then you have existing 8.1 foot. And then proposed is now at 7.9 feet, so that's, you know, de minimis extension of the non-conforming. But David, please tell me why and how you came to that decision.
All right, so David Ray, Nantasket Survey. This house is not perfectly parallel to the property line.
I get it, yes.
David Ray didn't lay it out, so that's possibly why it happened. But if we put a deck on the back that we square off with the corner of the house to make it, you know, a nice looking deck and extend it out, it gets ever so slightly closer to the lot line. The house itself will be exactly where it was before, so it will still be at 8.1. But the deck, and decks and hall have to meet setbacks, will be at 7.9 if you give us that waiver.
Yep, okay, so I see that, and again, it's hard to see on the screen, but if you look at the proposed conditions on the left side of the house, looking straight at it, you'll see what David has explained to us. You know, any whole lots are anything but uniform and straight for the most part, so I understand how and why it has gone from 8.1 foot down to 7.9 feet. And then below that, again, your footprint, not applicable under our bylaws. Existing 1,616 square foot, proposed is 1,723 square feet. Not an issue for our hearing tonight, but it has been explained by David Ray and the applicant. Your lot coverage, max percentage of lot coverage is 30%. Existing is 28.1% and proposed is 29.9%, which keeps you within our bylaw requirements. The height, again, 35 foot pursuant to the zoning bylaws. Existing is 24.8 feet and proposed is 26.1 feet, even with the elevation, right? Because you're filling in the basement.
Correct.
Cool. So again, we're not even, that's not even up for discussion at all. So, with that being said, does the applicant or Mr. Ady have anything further to offer as it relates to this project?
We do not.
Okay.
Other than it will be FEMA compliant when we're done.
That's awfully nice. And we know that's, if the water reaches your house, we know we're in trouble, one way or the other. Does the board have any questions before we continue with our order of business? All right, so now, I don't see anybody from the town here, so we do open it to the one person who happens to be here. So, madam, would you happen to, are you in favor or against this project?
I thought all the explanations were great tonight.
Great. Could we have your name just to make it official?
Sarah Ventitula, 902 Nantasket Ave.
Lovely. Okay, so that's quite helpful to me. So, without further ado and absent any issues with the board, you know, I will make a finding that I do not find this project as applied for is substantially more detrimental to the character and fitness of this neighborhood. And as such, I'm going to make the following motion. Let me just bring up my little guide here. Second, gang. Okay. I am going to make a motion to approve the application for a special permit as it relates to 23 N Street with the following conditions. Condition number 1, compliance with all applicable laws and codes of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts and the Town of Hull is required. Condition number 2, that the construction shall be done substantially in conformance according to the plans submitted by Duxborough Design dated June 1st, 2026, which were submitted by the petitioners, as well as the Nantasket Survey Engineering LLC existing and proposed conditions plan dated June 9, 2026. The petitioners shall submit an updated application for a building permit to the extent necessary, along with an updated copy of a plot plan or survey site plan, and an updated building plan to the extent necessary to the building commissioner for his review and approval in order to ascertain whether the proposed single-family, single-unit residential structure is in compliance with all code requirements for residential use. And condition number 3, following construction, no further expansion, change, or alteration of the structure, vertically or horizontally, or extension, change, or alteration of the structure in any setback areas, front, side, or rear, shall be permitted at any future date unless an application is submitted to the Board of Appeals and a written decision is issued approving the proposed expansion or extension. Ladies and gentlemen, that is my motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, motion by Hennessy, second by Parsons. And remember, Tony, you're voting on this. All those in favor, aye, Hennessy.
Aye, Parsons.
Okay, that is unanimous. Thank you, gentlemen. Folks, congratulations. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for your submittals. We hope and pray to get a decision out in the next couple of weeks so that you can light this candle and bring the good Lord down to N Street.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you very much. So, at that point, it is 7:39 and we have closed that. Tonight? Oh, for this one, yeah. See this magic? Yeah, party on, folks.
Good luck.
I'll see your hopefully he brings, good snacks for Halloween, because that's our neighborhood of choice, you know. That's okay, just leave a bucket out there, you know, we're good. Thanks, gang. All right, folks. So, we're good. So at this point in time, well, how about this? It's not on our agenda, Renee, but we still need to reorganize. We can either try to do that tonight, or we can put it on the agenda for the next meeting in August.
Put it on the next,
Okay,
I mean, because it wasn't posted.
yes,
It's been on everyone up until this, but I took everything off.
because of the expectation for what was gonna go on.
Expectation.
Okay, and we have no minutes to
Nope.
review? Okay,
They're not
so,
posted.
at this point,
Just
it,
rules and regulations, but I
it-
didn't know if that would be something.
got it, and we don't need to discuss that right now. So at it is now 7:40.
You can, did you wanna talk about executive session?
Oh, sure.
Yes.
Yeah, why not?
You don't
I-
have-
I move, I don't know, I had the recommendation that we, schedule a public, but executive session sort of off. I think it has to be a public notice, right?
the agenda has to be posted.
Yeah, oh, the
I don't
agenda
know
will
if
be
we have to
posted.
vote on it, but you might
Okay.
as well.
If my only, again, as it relates to the Point project, correct?
Yeah, the thought being that it would be very helpful to not use time in the hearing itself
Agreed.
for us to get briefed on our standard of review.
Got it. So what I've, the only frame of reference I would have to that is in the select board agendas. At times, there is an item that speaks to executive session, where it's still advertised and it's still a public meeting, but it's closed off for that limited point purpose.
Uh-huh.
So I have no.
So it's not a public meeting?
So
It is a public meeting, but it's like everybody, if you've ever been to a select board meeting, when that happens, Phil can speak to this because he's the only one who's ever been on the select board in this room. Everybody leaves for that specific period of time, and then you come back after the executive session. Am I correct generally?
Yes.
So
Got it.
you can post separately, there's multiple ways you do it. Post it as a separate scheduled meeting, executive session,
Just for the executive session.
just for the executive session.
Is that something we could do?
On
so-
Zoom,
On
Or-
Zoom?
On Zoom?
I'd rather not.
On
you
Zoom?
can come in.
No, you come in, but we have whoever the
if
attorney is
on
right there.
Zoom or.
Here's my thought as we're still discussing this, is that if we were able to, because as far as I can recall from my discussions with the attorney who's been appointed to represent our board at the point hearing,
Renee, hold
the
on.
4th, the 11th, and the 18th were all dates that worked for him.
Uh-huh.
So I don't know, Renee, and you can tell me if this is weird, is if we could have that executive session on the 4th,
Absolutely.
right? So that
And
at the end.
how many are coming on the 4th? You said it's packed?
It's, two, three, five or six.
5 or 6 plus Gosen.
No, including.
Gosen. Okay.
Right, so I think it would be,
Oof, that's a lot.
yeah, it's
Could
gonna
we
be
get-
all right.
Couldn't we have the executive session? 'Cause
Before?
Coming back on the
Absolutely.
11th. Can we have it half hour before?
Oh, sure, I'm just
That way
saying,
the attorney's gonna be here.
yeah, that's fine too, but out of, and I kinda like the idea of us, having as much knowledge ahead of time, so that if we could do it sometime prior to the 11th, so that when 7 p.m. chimes and we start this process, we have everything that we need to have in our brains and in front of us to be able to go forward without wasting time.
I would rather not do it on the 11th. It's going to be a long meeting.
So, the 11th is our regular meeting.
No, 11th
Yeah.
is the
Oh, yeah,
special
no,
meeting.
yeah.
The 18th,
So-
the 11th?
So I would suggest doing it on the 4th. I don't know if you wanna do it before or after.
You
do it
can't
on
do
the-
before, right?
Yeah, you can.
I mean,
You can
he
before.
can't. Richard
Oh,
can't.
Richard,
It's,
well, he could call, he could call.
so on the 4th, yeah, I mean, if, like, I'm always, that's cool, whatever's happening right there. There's a mic above your head, I think.
Oh.
It was like, it was just going up and down. Listen, I will try to my very best to make it here, for the start time, like if, say, for example, if we wanted, to have it at 6:30, right? And then our regular agenda items and applications commence at 7. I don't see a problem with that, if that's something that would work. I mean, the alternative is,
I think that works great.
yeah, I mean, the alternative
For
would be
sure.
to jam it in at the end at an undetermined period of time, meaning that attorney would just have to be on call.
After 5 or 6.
Yeah, like,
yeah.
that it may, I don't know what kind of applications are coming before us.
We have a raise and rebuild, we have.
There are a bunch of, if I remember correctly, there's a bunch of houses being torn down and coming
There's
back up.
definitely two raise and rebuilds.
An ADU, a couple of
An
ADUs
ADU.
maybe, and,
And then the 2 from today, so maybe it's just 5, I think.
yeah, so
Because N Street thought they would continue, so I might have that.
Yeah, so my thought, and I don't know if it requires a motion or just that it's on the record here, is that when the agenda comes out for August 4th, that we insert an executive decision on the front end, with whomever the council may be representing us on the 11th, for like a half an hour.
But we're doing this on the 4th.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, Renee, what can we discuss in the executive session that won't violate the open meeting?
Anything to do with
Anything.
anything with to do with it's like attorney-client.
Yeah, this is what happened. So basically, and we're on the record right now.
Yeah.
My vision, which is what I've been asking for a few weeks now, is that because originally I thought Brian was going to be our guy.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden I learned today that he is the planning board guy, which is fine. The town has elected, on their own to retain this other law firm to represent us. And there were I spoke to one of the junior partners today. Either he or his superior will be, here with us on the 11th. My vision for this executive session is not to get into like the substance of, what we think one way or the other.
Yeah, that's what I was-
More just, all right, the questions I've asked, let's confirm our standard review. Let's confirm, what documents are at issue. Let's confirm whether or not our normal order of business involving everybody and their uncle, if that applies to this particular, matter. It's somewhat different and it's somewhat unclear. I've heard things both ways. But given that, as you saw from earlier, there's a lot of public participation, we need to have an avenue where those people are recognized, both those in favor, those against. I want everything to be heard, because if you looked at the website today, there, in my emails, there are just gobs of information, right? So we want to be able to focus and get direction from our attorney as to what things we are meant to look at, because as I see it, and you and I are the attorneys on this thing, is like I'm trying to envision the how this works, right? Like you have one side presents, the other side presents. You know, what are we?
Are we asking questions? Are
Exactly. Our scope is very limited, right? But we want confirmation of that limited scope. So that it's more of like a playbook from council, right? And
Yeah.
nothing as to, like, it could be generic. So it's a playbook for any and all appeals from the planning
planning
board,
board to us?
right?
Yeah.
So it's not petitioner or appellant specific. It's just general, so that if this stuff comes before us ever again, we're locked and loaded.
Yeah,
Does that make sense?
Perfect.
I agree.
Okay. So
You wouldn't review any, like in that case, you wouldn't review any plans. There'll be
No,
no
no,
plans
that's-
to
We're
look
not
at.
discussing even the project.
no, but
No.
it's, so here's the thing.
We're stepping back
Like,
into what is just our bare
Right,
bones.
'cause like from
And I think you wanted even a script
yeah.
from council to say,
what?
this is our purview.
Right. So I look at it from whenever I have to go to an appellate court, is that the appellate panel is limited to the record before it. Nothing new, nothing profound, just the stuff. And I have to believe, and I believe it to be true, that our charge is both to recognize and interpret the actual appeal from the point, but also the record from the, it's almost a combination, like planning and DRB, but it's planning where we're dealing with. So the stuff that they put together that served as the basis for them issuing their decision, but not specific to that stuff. It's more of just like, all right, what is our universe of documents that we need to consider?
Right, and how do we take in public comment and what do we give, can we take it in? And
Oh, you can take it in, because I think if you don't, on any kind of matter, if you don't, you're gonna get pitchforks and flamethrowers. from
No,
the
I mean,
town.
but I think it's very important for us to be able to distinguish as a board that there are things that
Out of
folks
scope.
here
What's in
might
the
talk
scope, what's out
about
of
that
scope.
are not within our scope.
Right, so we need to be able to control, like, just like when folks, and I'm sorry for getting long-winded here, but just like when folks on normal special permit variance applications, members of the public start talking about things that are outside of our charge as a Board of Appeals. Prior administrations of this board have been more free to let them just go off. Others have been tight with the gavel, and then I try to blend that together and say, let people speak their piece, but then point out to them that, yeah, you may be really bummed out that there's a wall of windows looking into your bathroom right now, but that's not our problem, in the most respectful way. You
Right.
get my drift?
Yep.
So it's like trying to keep the guardrails in place while allowing public, positive public support and negative public support, right? And that ultimately, whatever they're saying to us in the aggregate, because there's a zillion letters, on one side versus the other, that doesn't influence us, right? It can be part of our overall contemplation, but I believe what I want council to do is to tell us that you have to have your horse blinders on to how that decision by the planning board came to be, and whether or not.
It's in compliance with Massachusetts law.
Right.
Okay.
So does that make sense?
Yep.
To the full crew? All right, so Renee, the only thing I need to know is whether or not, do we have to make a motion to include an?
I always say, do it,
All right, so just
because
for the sake of, since we are plowing, new and fresh earth, I'm going to make a motion to the extent necessary that on the agenda for our next meeting of the Board of Appeals on Tuesday, August 4, 2026, that the first item on that agenda be a 30-minute executive session with count.
Sorry, so we're gonna go 6:30 to 7?
Yeah, so that,
Thank you.
I was getting there, so
Sorry.
that the normal meeting start time of 7 o'clock will remain in place as it relates to all of the applications before us, but that we insert above that, beginning at 6:30 going to 7, an executive session with legal representation retained for the Board of Appeals to give us like a playbook,
Right, in person or by Zoom.
in person or by Zoom, whatever's convenient.
By Zoom.
And that is my motion. So motion by Hennessy, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, and let's all vote. So roll call vote, aye, Hennessy.
I Parsons.
I belong.
Hi, Rogers.
Okay, so thank you, ladies and gentlemen, that's unanimous, so, we'll get that in the works. And then beyond that, absent any other matters to be discussed, I'm going to make a motion.
Quick,
Yeah, yeah.
sorry, one more quick, I feel like it came out a long time ago, but maybe it didn't. This I guess would be new business. The state has updated their guidelines for special permits. Haven't been trying to meet with Bartley and Brian, to go over it because
This
more
Brian?
things, this Brian, more things I think will be allowed by right.
Talking to Bart, he's going to training.
Yes, yes, so that's why he hasn't,
Yeah.
yeah, he
Right,
is
so,
not.
so as it
They-
relates to that, if we want to include that in some other business at the end,
So, we should, well, I guess we'll have to wait until we get further information.
yeah, so,
And
so
then-
in a perfect world, right, we don't want to make our lives any more difficult. And what I would hope and recommend is that once, Mr. Kelly and, what's Brian's last name?
Winter.
Winter, and Attorney Winter sort of have a meeting of the minds and learn about this thing and how it applies to us. Whether or not, like, it's not in place just quite yet, it will be.
No, it is. It went
It's
through.
not
Cheryl
been
law.
signed.
Okay, so it's,
And so does it govern what we do on the 11th?
No.
No.
Wait, the 11th is a regular meeting?
That's our special meeting.
No, because that's on the appeal. These are, what went through is for a special purpose. Like, you can go up by right, you can, I believe you can extend your non-conformity by right.
Rebecca's, I think, question was like, okay, any of these new thingamabobbles
Yeah, no.
impact our ability to
On
go
the desk
forward?
of that. No.
No, because we're not looking at the project.
All right, so I'm gonna,
So the 4th, but I
We
think
can ask that
because those
question.
have already been denied under the old law. that
yeah,
they-
so
they
it's
stay.
all new things after, I think, I mean, I don't know. But
And I
here,
don't know. I mean,
here's,
they could- the
here's what
proposal
I would
has it
say.
Yeah,
I would say this, is that
but
to
not
the,
the 11th.
to the
Okay.
extent that it will be recorded in the minutes, I would make a request that both Attorney Winter and the building commissioner review and advise us as soon as reasonably possible, given the potential impacts of these new statutory setups to future hearings of the Board of Appeals. So,
So the 4th will stay.
cool, so,
Especially because we get those tear downs and the new raises and stuff, and that's all gonna,
right.
all going to affect that.
Yeah, so that's it, that's great, I think we're good, and, on that, it's 7:56, I'm gonna make a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, so motion by Hennessy, second by Parsons, everybody say aye.
I
Aye.
belong.
All right, great, ladies and gentlemen, we are complete at 7:56.